Hi guys, this is Rob from Access. I'm joined today by Nate Fox, the game director on inFAMOUS Second Son for PS4. Thank you very much for talking to us, Nate. The first thing I want to ask you is about the DualShock 4. How beneficial was it for you guys as game developers to have had some actual input into how that controller was designed?
Oh, it's spectacular. I mean, we're, as you might imagine, all gamers, and we know what we want in a controller, and have the hardware guys come to you and say, hey, what do you think would make for the most fun experience? What kind of features could you make a better game with if we put these in the controller? We would give them lists and they would try things out, create prototypes, and through iteration we got to the DualShock 4 we have today, and it's great. I can't wait for gamers to get their hands on it.
So before they came to you, did you have any ideas of what you wanted to say to them? Did you have ideas for inFAMOUS Second Son that you thought, oh, it'd be great if the controller could do this? And what kind of things did you say that have actually made it into the final DualShock 4?
I'll tell you the core thing, and I'm sure you can appreciate this as a gamer, you want to have joysticks that are tight and precise and triggers that feel really good. Because how many games feature, aiming and shooting? Like half, you know what I mean? The controller is perfect for this. I mean, they've made the thing work against that particular gameplay style wonderfully. And with inFAMOUS, we do feature some aiming and kind of shooting with powers, so we benefit from that massively.
One of the things that you showed off quite a lot in that demo was the speed at which Delsin is able to move, and how the DualShock 4 allows you to do that. So for people at home who didn't get to see that video, could you just give us a couple of examples of how you've implemented, like, say, the touchpad and the joysticks and the triggers into inFAMOUS Second Son?
Well, our game's all about comboing up different powers for effects. So it's a big 3D landscape you can climb on. It's like a sculptured world. So Delsin can use his powers to transform into smoke and cruise up the side of a building, and then come down hard with a fist, or segueing into lashing out at somebody with a chain. And the touchpad, what it allows us to do is transition from those really big, expressive combat moves to smaller things. Like if we want to have the player experience what it's like to have like a little DNA sample taken, we move to the touchpad to have the player position their finger doing exactly what our hero Delsin does in the world, so that you feel like you're experiencing the adventure too.
And with regards to the open world then, I guess on PS4 you've got to think about loads of more little details as well. I mean, is that like more like a blessing or a curse, I guess? What was it like having to think about all these tiny little things that you didn't maybe necessarily have to think about before?
It is both a blessing and a curse, as you put it. With the power of the PS4, we can make every little detail come to life, and it's great as a gamer. I'll tell you, as a game maker, it means a lot more work, as you might have guessed. But when you're playing the game, having the detail and the textures and the sound and all the particle effects and having great lighting, it draws you into the game and you get lost in the world like you haven't in previous generations, just because it feels so real. And getting sucked into the screen, getting lost in the story and the adventure is, I think, what all of us want as gamers. And so I'm grateful for the power of the console to let us do that.
And Troy Baker's your leading man. He's a leading man in quite a few games at the moment. What's he like to work with?
Troy is great. There's a reason why he gets so much work, right? He's a fantastic actor. He's really easy to work with. And when we auditioned really a huge number of actors for the role, he had the tone just down. You could feel Delsin coming out of him. And on top of that, when we auditioned for the other character of Reggie, the guy that we cast happens to be best friends with Troy. So this guy Travis Willingham came in, and he was a fantastic Reggie. And when Troy came in and read against him, they had instant chemistry, and I'm like, wow, these guys are really great. And then I find out that in real life they're best friends. Like, Troy was Travis's best man in his wedding. It's crazy. So they have kick-ass brother feeling, and they're like this in real life too. Like, Travis is always busting Troy's chops on stage, tell him to simmer down, or quit being such a douchebag, and they just get along really well. It's awesome. They're a sweet pair. We're very lucky to have them.
And just to wrap up then, if you could pick one thing that the PS4 has enabled you to do that previous inFAMOUS games couldn't have done on PS3, what would that be?
I'm really grateful to the PS4 for the way that it handles particles and lighting. In inFAMOUS, we have these big, powerful abilities that, because of the horsepower, we can make look spot on and use them to blow up the world. We couldn't have done in the last generation, but because of the horsepower, you believe that these powers could exist, and that's part of the goal in having you as the player experience what it's like to have that kind of superhero origin story that you see in movies, but you get to walk through it and make choices as you would as a gamer.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Nate. If you want to see more videos from Gamescom, we've got loads on our channel. You can check them all out at youtube.com/PlayStation Access.